So last week we went through the top 10 wide receivers in the rookie class for Dynasty Fantasy Football for this year. And obviously we need to keep going through all of these prospects in Dynasty that are upcoming in this rookie class right here. So a couple of days ago, I got a request. Can I do one for the quarterbacks? Well, great news, it was already in the works. Of course, we're dropping that here today. Today we are getting into the top 5 quarterbacks in the 2024 Dynasty Rookie Class for Dynasty Fantasy Football. This is a new channel, guys. This is a Dynasty exclusive channel, so please go down there, drop a like on this video, and subscribe to the channel to show your support. And check out my main channel, Football Fanalysts Network, if you're interested in regular season content for fantasy football. Let's go ahead and dive into these quarterbacks right now. So number one, I don't think that it's going to surprise anybody. Maybe it will. I know this is the time of year where people are trying to pick apart the number one quarterback in the class. And that guy this year is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams obviously is in a position where it's similar to Trevor Lawrence's story a couple years back. For years and years, everybody just kind of knew that Trevor Lawrence was going to be the number one pick in the NFL draft. Whenever he came out, they just knew he was going to be the guy. Now, we could have an argument about whether or not he's lived up to that draft capital, but that's the bottom line, is when he was in college, everyone knew. Well, Caleb Williams has kind of been in the same position as Trevor Lawrence to a certain extent. Ever since he was at Oklahoma in his true freshman season, he stood out immediately. And then when he went to Lincoln Riley at USC, when Lincoln Riley left for USC, you knew that he was going to be the number one pick. Well, this happens every year. People try to pick the top quarterback in the class apart. This is just a natural thing that happens. A couple years ago, Joe Burrow was the top quarterback in the 2020 draft class, and it wasn't even particularly close. I thought he was the best quarterback prospect I had ever seen since Andrew Luck. Seriously, dating back to Andrew Luck, Joe Burrow was great. People were trying to pick apart his hand size. I think it's safe to say that with the amount of quarterbacks who have had success with smaller hands under 10 inches, Patrick Mahomes, great example. The success rate has nothing to do with hand size. So it's safe to say that people were overreacting on Joe Burrow. I kind of feel the same way about Caleb Williams right here. Because Caleb Williams, to me, he's got everything that you need in a dynasty quarterback right here. This guy is an excellent playmaker. He improvises better than anybody in this class. I think his arm talent is the best in the class. Not only arm strength, which he has plenty of arm strength, but he finds different angles to throw the ball. He launches the ball at different angles according to where a defender is in front of his face or to his side. This guy just knows where to place the ball, and he fits it in the tightest of windows right here. Caleb Williams, to me, I just don't think that we need to go into a really redundant process of trying to over-evaluate this guy. He's going to go number one overall. That alone is going to give him a ton of stability in Dynasty Fantasy Football, at least for the first 3 years or so. Whoever takes him, whether it's Chicago, which I believe it will be, or if they trade the pick to somebody else, whoever takes it is going to give this guy lots of opportunities, even if he struggles for the first little bit. I think that my biggest problem with Caleb Williams, he came up smaller in big games. No way around it. I know we can have the argument. I think most people would agree on this. I don't even think it's an argument. Their defense sucked at USC. Their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. So I don't think it's all on Caleb Williams, but he did come out very strong, painting stuff on his fingernails. Like F Utah. It's like, dude, you just got to play it a little smarter than that. So I think that Caleb Williams overall, nothing to really gripe at here. 68% completion percentage with this guy. I think Caleb Williams is a pretty good prospect. One of the better quarterback prospects we have seen in a long, long time. At number 2 here, I still have a very clear answer on this one. And this particular guy has gotten a lot of unsettlement in the Dynasty community in 2023, and that was Drake May. Drake May out of North Carolina. So Drake May, I think, it was kind of a little bit similar to Caleb Williams in the sense that a lot of people were looking at Caleb Williams and just saying to themselves, this guy's the number one overall pick. Duh, right? Like I was just saying. Drake May, I think a lot of people were thinking the same thing, except this guy's going to be the number 2 pick right? So it was a clear 1 and 2. And it was for good reason. I mean, this guy showed out very, very early on in college. He's got plenty of mobility to be able to avoid plays and extend plays on the run and make throws down the field. Plenty of arm strength, and this guy has the prototypical size that you want to see at the quarterback position. I think that there's plenty of merit to having him solidly at the number 2 position. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't understand the problem, though, because I do. Drake May took a step back in 2023, at least statistically. Drake May just simply was not nearly as good of a player in 2023 as he was in 2022. Drake May, I think that the ultimate problem with him is that we went from seeing him complete 66% of his passes in 2022 and dropping 3% down to 63.3% in 2023. Now that's not the worst number. Like, it's not a 60%, it's not a Anthony Richardson 55% completion percentage in his final year of college, but completion percentage is a big, big deal. Not only for the success of the quarterback, but it also is going to determine how much stability and how much security, job security, a quarterback has at the NFL level. So Drake May definitely needs to improve on what he did in 2022 and prove that 2022 was not a fluke. 2023 was not a great year for Drake May. That being said, he's my clear number 2, and I think that he goes definitely inside of the top 5 of this NFL draft coming up here in a couple months. Number 3, everything changes with one season. I got to tell you, man, there's a lot of guys that I was considering number 3. Before 2023 happened, it was up in the air. And Jaden Daniels out of LSU takes the cake at number 3. Jaden Daniels, do you guys remember last year in 2022? And Anthony Richardson was the guy that really just kind of came out of nowhere in that Dynasty rookie draft class. And it was for very good reason. Anthony Richardson was 6'4", 250 pounds basically, had a superhero level combine and just had physical gifts galore, right? I understood the hype on Anthony Richardson. I don't understand it quite as much with Jaden Daniels, though. I got to be completely honest. And I'm not saying that Jaden Daniels is talentless. That's not what I'm saying. If we're looking at just the stat sheet, I totally understand it. You cannot get around the fact that this guy is a fantastic runner and it's going to translate to fantasy football one way or the other. If this guy is drafted high enough, which it's early, we're in February now, it's still too early to know exactly where he's going to go. I would say if he has a strong combine, a strong pro day, Jaden Daniels could be a first-round pick. So if he gets that opportunity, we're going to see this rushing upside come to fruition for fantasy football. That's just the bottom line here. Jaden Daniels can't get around it. Over 1,100 rushing yards from a quarterback, that's unheard of. I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy runs like Lamar Jackson, too. I mean, he makes defenders look stupid. Jaden Daniels has tons of vision, mobility. I mean, that's just a massive skill that this guy has. So if we're looking at just rushing upside, that's why Jaden Daniels is at number 3 ahead of guys that I'll talk about here in a minute. You can't deny the rushing upside. But I just can't act like he has the physical gifts of somebody like an Anthony Richardson, right? Anthony Richardson has a gifted arm. And again, it's not that Jaden Daniels' arm is weak. Like, we'll watch film on this guy on Patreon. If you're interested in watching film with me and breaking down all the Dynasty rookie prospects, join the Patreon today and you'll see me evaluate Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels has arm strength, but he can't throw it through a wall like Anthony Richardson can. And that's fine. Most guys in the league cannot do that. Jaden Daniels, what impresses me, this guy he's got great ball placement. He can fit it into tight windows, and he's got really, really good touch on deep balls. So if I'm combining the accuracy in which he throws the ball, and by the way, extremely accurate, 72% completion percentage in 2023. Excellent. Fantastic. You combine that with the excellent rushing skills. There's a lot of upside here in Dynasty. But I want to make this 100% clear. This is not a surefire prospect right here. That's all I want people to know, is that we're not looking at a surefire prospect here. This guy needs to go to the right offense, like a Lamar Jackson got. For years and years, he got the right offensive coach with Greg Roman. Now with Todd Monken, I know Todd Monken's under fire right now for his game plan against the Chiefs. But overall, 2023 was a great year for Lamar Jackson. You got to have the right coach at the helm with Jaden Daniels, I think. I don't think that he's going to be a Caleb Williams where he can overcome a lot. That's my gripe with him. I think he's boom or bust. But let me be clear. The boom potential, the ceiling, is extraordinarily high. And that's why he's a 3. Number 4, Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. And it's so funny because I just was done talking about Jaden Daniels. Michael Penix was originally going to be the guy at number 3 for me. I was all over Michael Penix Jr. before 2023. Michael Penix Jr., it's so funny because the more I watch this guy, I just see more and more of Tua Tagovailoa. And it's ironic because Tua's brother is in this class. I see so much Tua with Michael Penix. I mean, if you look at him on film, he's got just, honestly, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I don't think that there is more than 5 quarterbacks in the NFL that throw a prettier deep ball than Michael Penix does. He drops it in the breadbasket consistently. So much accuracy on the deep throws, and they float in the air right into the receiver's breadbasket. Now, looking at a wide receiver in this class, Rome Odunze, who I kind of said that he could potentially be a bust because he benefited a lot from Michael Penix's deep throws specifically. That's a conversation for another day. I like Rome Odunze, but I think that Michael Penix there's no denying that Michael Penix contributed a bunch to the success of Rome Odunze. Here's the problem. The problem with Michael Penix, and I think it was on full display in that championship game versus Michigan, this guy is small. And not only is he small, and I'm very interested to see what his official testing numbers are at the combine, he's just not very mobile either. So what's going to happen? Well, if he goes to an offensive line that stinks or needs to be rebuilt, and they expect him to start day 1, there's going to be trouble on the horizon because he cannot evade Max Crosby on a consistent basis. He can't evade a Bosa brother. He can't evade TJ Watt. There's so many athletic pass rushers that he will just not be able to evade. And if they get a hold of him, look out, because he's small, and we saw a glimpse into the downside of Tua Tagovailoa, which is that this guy can get injured. We saw a glimpse of it with Penix in that Michigan game. So there's problems here. There's limitations, I think. I think what he needs to go to a great offensive-minded coach. A McVay type. A Kyle Shanahan. That's what he needs to go to. A Mike McDaniel. Problem is, they've all got their quarterback right now. So we'll see what happens. I do see limitations here with Penix. Although I do really like the fact that this guy throws a fantastic deep ball, and if he gets the right things around him, could definitely be a very positive dynasty quarterback. Rounding it out at number 5, Bo Nix of Oregon. And Bo Nix and Michael Penix are actually closer than some people may realize, to me personally. You know, I was just discussing with Caleb Williams the playmaking ability that he has. And really, I think you could apply it to all 5 of these guys. I think they're all very good at playmaking. They can all extend plays on their own terms, right? Not all of them could do it to the level of Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, right? But they all can do it to a certain point. I think there's an argument to be made. Bo Nix is the best at doing that improvisation outside of Caleb Williams. There was a lot of times where Bo Nix got out of the pocket, made stuff happen on improvisation skills alone that led to an exciting season for Ducks fans who are, just watch their conference get blown into pieces in the Pac-12, right? Now, that's not to say that Oregon's offense stunk. Their offense was run very well in 2023, but Bo Nix proved to be a very good quarterback at the college football level. I mean, the touchdown interception ratio this guy had, the completion percentage this guy had, 77% completions is just outrageous. And a 45 touchdown to 3 interception ratio is also simply outrageous here. He's got about the same level of arm talent that Michael Penix does as well. Arm talent is not an issue here, particularly with a guy like Bo Nix. But again, I see limitations here just because he's not a huge guy, right? So he doesn't have this massive size. And he's also not a, Jaden Daniels type of runner. He can get away, but what is that going to look like again with top tier pass rushers? I don't see this guy being able to elevate receivers around him. I think that he'll need to go to, again, a good offensive system with good weapons around him. I just don't see him taking the New York Giants wide receivers, for example, and making water out of wine. I just don't see that with Bo Nix. But I do see, again, if he goes to a positive, offensive-minded head coach who knows how to develop an offense and play to the strengths of a quarterback, I think if he gets that, he could be a very positive contributor and a starter for a long time in this league, which makes him a top 5 dynasty quarterback in the 2024 Dynasty rookie class. So let me know what you think of the rankings in the comments below and what questions you need answered for 2024 in this Dynasty rookie class. And if you want to see the top 10 wide receivers in this 2024 class, click on this video right here.